What's going on, everybody? It's Rick. Today I'm finally getting a chance to start the harvest, so I figured I'd bring you along, show you what's going on, and then have this thing all put together for Worm Wednesday. So this here is the current feeding tray. What I'm going to do is move this to the middle level and move the middle level up top to here. To be honest with you, normally I would add the risers, but I think because it's not going to be here that long, I'm just going to not add the risers to this next bit. However, I need to check the bottom to make sure that there's not a bunch of castings or paper stuck to it. There's a little bit of castings, but not much. And what I am going to do is, because I want to try to get the most out of this harvest, I think a lot of these castings have actually just been brought down by the worms coming down. So I'm going to move this back into that harvest tray. I'm going to try not to get too much paper. One thing I'm actually able to do too is I'm getting some more worms, which will then go into that feeding area. Okay, so as you see, I don't need every last casting, but that definitely was a lot. And oh my goodness, this thing was completely loaded with bedding. So I will have to add a bunch of bedding to this for that next feeding. That's wild. And a great thing to see. And you can see how much castings I actually got added back to this bin. So all I'm doing right now is giving it a little mix so I can kind of agitate these worms a little bit and then allow them to force themselves down into that feeding area. And these castings are a little wet. Yeah, look at that. What I'm going to do now is come back maybe every 15-20 minutes. Go ahead, I can basically push aside some of the castings, collect the castings that have no worms, and if there's a worm in it, either wait a little longer, move it to another area, and just kind of keep getting, see how there's almost every little spoonful right now is collecting castings. So once the light goes ahead and lets them work themselves down a little bit, it'll be a lot easier to harvest. And I'll get the majority of the castings, leave pretty much all the worms in there, and then there probably will be some cocoons, but that will just go into my holding container. Okay, so here's the bedding. This has been here for about 2 weeks, and there's a worm in there, so that's a good sign. When I did my worm talk, I was basically saying you can use kind of any type of material. This is a 24 pack of water. I just cut it to use it as a plastic covering. It doesn't always have to be the coolest or the best thing. Cool, don't see anything on there. Kind of dry on some of the edges, but right in the centers, still nice and moist. So cool, looks good. Today I get to use it. Here is the empty castings, the empty tray from the castings that I harvested. This ended up taking 2 days. Come on, get out of there. So there's 4 or 5 worms that I'm seeing on there. I ended up placing this underneath this light, and I did 2 sets of harvest, and then I went ahead and let it sit overnight, and then I went ahead and the next day I finished it up. Little baby worm. So this tray is now going to go down to the very bottom. This guy is going to need more bedding. So this will still be the feeding tray. That'll be the pre-harvest tray, and then the tray that I just harvested I'm going to place down at the bottom. Let's see how this is looking. Oh yeah. So what I'm going to do is just drop this on top of the feeding tray, and I'm going to do the same with this. There's a few worms in there. This is kind of dry, so this will get back up to the top to get rehydrated. Just because I already know the worms are going to go and do whatever they want to do, I'm going to add a little bedding down there. This tray has these little feet, so they have to be inside. And then we have this little groove that this tray has to sit inside to lock in. And then these guys just kind of go in the corners. Okay. So there we go. Some of that material from down below. Let's see if there's any food. Catching kind of a citrusy smell right now. Oh. Looks like a little orange peel. So one of the reasons why I like to mix and incorporate is because there's actually still some dry bedding in here. Okay, well, wow. This guy is looking really nice. I think I should probably add a little bit of the bedding to knock off the castings off my gloves. Luckily I put it in my mortar tray and I seen this guy just hanging out there, so they're going back in. Going with a half a head of lettuce and then some pulp. Okay, on top of the feeding, I'm going to add my ground up eggshells. It'll kind of be easier if I make a little pocket here, then I can put some more of that bedding up here. Okay. Then I'm going to add a little bit of that worm chow. That consists of the pulverized oats, flour, cornmeal, everything was expired, and some pulverized eggshell. Well, thanks for checking out this video. Didn't go into the harvest all the way with you, but I basically showed you how I was going to do it with this light. And the light works really well. It forces those worms down, and then you just kind of move it around and start harvesting until you start hitting worms, and then you stop and let the light do the work again. Definitely a nice way to do it. It is a little time consuming because you have to keep scraping, but I like it because once I do it that way, I don't have to re-clean up the castings or the vermicompost. I don't have to try to bait out any worms. They basically all stayed in the system. Definitely let me know down in the comments if you like the light migration method or if you have a different way, and hopefully if it's a different way, give a little description of it, so if anybody's reading those comments, they have an idea of what to do, and depending on what it is, I may try it on one of these other bins. Thanks for coming along checking out the video. Everybody have a great day.